We, in a few days, will be reading the scroll that is within this beautiful container, known as the whole Megillah, the scroll of Esther. And I hope you'll join us on Monday, Philip's birthday, to celebrate this joyous holiday of Purim with us. Tonight is known as Shabbat Zachor, which is a special name given to the Shabbat before Purim. And I want to take this opportunity to unfurl, so to speak, the Megillah of Esther, because it's one of the most fascinating books within our Hebrew Bible. For an ancient book that is at least 2,000 years old, it's remarkably relatable to our lives today. It's set outside of ancient Israel in a large city, most likely we think in Persia, and it is in the city where Jews are living comfortably in their urban environment as a minority within a larger society. Sound familiar? Out of the blue, crisis strikes, and an anti-Semitic, if you will, government leader, whose name I will not mention. Okay, I'll mention it, Haman. Thank you. Well, he seeks to attack the Jews, and the story unfolds. A few more noteworthy aspects about Megillat Esther that I want to recognize. The book does not mention God once, which is curious because it is a book that is codified within the Hebrew Bible. It's the only biblical book like this. God does not intercede in the story. Instead, it's up to the characters within the tale who are just trying to live their regular, normal lives in the city and to address the challenges that present before them. In addition, the main protagonist is a woman, Esther. This is very rare in our texts. And this said, it takes a village to get through a crisis, and Esther does not lead alone. She is assisted by Mordecai, her uncle or cousin. We're not exactly sure. It doesn't matter. What does matter is that Mordecai is guided by his strong Jewish values. And later, Esther is also assisted by her husband, the often critiqued King Ahasuerus. Try saying Ahasuerus 5 times fast, just not now. Many scholars consider the book of Esther to purposely be a satire, a comedic parody. Many times throughout the story, ridiculous events occur, turning the plot on its side, such as when Haman thinks he's... Thank you. I'm impressed. Wow, you're on your toes today. I was sort of sitting on, but on toes. Such as when the villain is giving the king advice on how the villain should be honored by the kingdom, only to find out that the accolades he recommends are to be received by his arch rival, Mordecai the Jew. It is such an interesting, funny, accessible tale, and I encourage to give yourself a Shabbat gift by reading the book. It's not very long. If you have a Hebrew Bible, it's in there. You can find it on many other sites like myjewishlearning.org. One more thing for now. This book is perhaps the ultimate example of the joke that some people use to summarize many Jewish holidays. They tried to kill us. We won. Let's eat. In this case, let's eat yummy triangular cookies that legend says are in the shape of the villain's hat. And let's eat them within a day or two of the very date that Haman originally set for the demise of the Jewish people. The part of the book that I want to focus on most upon tonight is the moment in the story when Esther realizes she is in the singular position to best save all the Jewish people in Shushan by approaching the king for help. But there's a catch. She writes to Mordecai about this. In her message, she tells him, and I'm quoting from the book of Esther, all the king's courtiers and the people of the king's provinces are aware that if any person, even the queen, enters the king's presence in the inner court without having been summoned, there is but one law for her: to be put to death. And Mordecai's response is direct. He acknowledges her perilous circumstances and reminds her of the mortal danger that all the Jews are in, and says, and I'm paraphrasing here, Esther, do not be silent. Perhaps you were put in your position as queen for this very moment in time to save your people. And this emboldens Esther. She is not silent, and she decides to speak. And she says to her Mordecai, I shall go to the king, though it is contrary to the law, and if I am to perish, I will perish. She also asks for support from Mordecai and all the Jews in the community. She asked them to fast and pray for her. And in this, there was a communal effort to save themselves. Now, this is the section that I find most compelling in the book of Esther. Mordecai's framing to Esther of the idea that perhaps she is in the position she's in for the very purpose of saving the Jews. And my reading here is not that Mordecai is suggesting some divine intervention. It's that he's encouraging her to take full advantage of the situation she's in, to leverage her status and relationships and opportunities for the ultimate, though risky, good. As we often do when reading Jewish texts, I encourage us to see ourselves in Esther's place, to be Esther, and to not be silent where we can use our status and place, not necessarily to stop a humanitarian disaster from occurring, although if we are in that position, surely I pray we would, but also to apply this idea to small and large aspects of our lives. Perhaps we have been placed in a moment in time to assist our neighbor, to help a stranger safely get across the street, to take a family member to a doctor's appointment, to donate to a cause that will serve people we'll never meet, to vote in a local, state, or national election that will result in important actions being taken in our world. Remember, God is not the main character in this story. God is not even in the story. The actors are humans, people just like us. And because of Esther's and Mordecai and the Jewish people's community behavior, the story unfolds to the positive, counteracting the choices of another human. We do not want to think what would have happened if the protagonist had not acted as they did. I would add that for all the interventions of God and the miracles in the Hebrew Bible, the trajectory of our texts and how they are interpreted is clear. It's up to us, each of us, all of us, just like it was up to Esther, Mordecai, and the Jews of Shushan. We are the ones that have to protect each other. We are the ones, our tradition says, who have to take care of each other and lift each other up. And yes, we are the ones who have to combat evil in our midst. And definitively, We do not ever, ever want to be the one who is acting like Haman does in this story. Exactly. We don't want to be self-absorbed, narcissistic, power-hungry, insensitive, abusing, and attacking. And if, God forbid, if we are anywhere near these behaviors, we must nip them in the bud and reverse them as quickly as possible towards the characteristics of Esther and Mordecai. It's easy to read Megillat Esther. We know the ending. We actually sing here at Central the verse from the conclusion of the book, La Yahudim Haita Ora V'Simcha V'Sason V'Yikar. The Jews enjoyed light and gladness, happiness and honor. But the key to the reason the Jews enjoyed light and gladness was because the Jews of Shushan courageously dedicated themselves. They made it their job to do their best to bring light and happiness into their world. They were critical to making it so. They made it so. And now, citizens of Shushan, large and small, this is now our job. Let us help each other make it so, today and every day. Shabbat Shalom and Chag Purim Sameach.